I've been living in Athens now for almost a year. I actually cannot believe it because I just don't know when did this happen. But while living in Athens, I only use public transport and I love it. So in this video, I will tell you all about public transport in Athens, how to use it, what are different means of public transport, what kind of tickets you need, how to get to places and how to get the tickets, and basically all that jazz. The one thing that I will not be covering is the travel from airport to the city, but that is only because I will dedicate a completely separate video to it. I am traveling in a week from now, so I thought this is going to be a great opportunity to make a completely brand new, fresh video on how to get from the airport to the city. So stay tuned for that video. But in this one, we will be talking about using public transport in Athens. So let's go. Before I cover all the public transport means and how to use them, I will very quickly answer maybe a burning question of yours. Meaning, is it safe to use public transport in Athens? Is it really a good way to travel around Athens? Me personally, I love it. Some people complain about public transport in Athens, and yes, there are some better ones in the world, but there are some much worse ones in the world. But I find it really convenient, very reliable. I hardly ever get frustrated, which is a great thing. And you can get to anywhere in the city or outside of the city by public transport, which is very reliable, and most importantly, it's really, really affordable. Comparing to other bigger cities, touristy cities in Europe, I think public transport in Athens is very affordable. We will be talking about prices as well. There are, of course, few things that you need to keep in mind. I will mention those towards the end of the video, so please stick around because there will be some important tips for you. But let's just crack on, and I will start with listing what public transport means that are available in Athens. So you have few options when it comes to public transport in Athens. You have buses, trolleybuses, trams, metro, and taxis. There is also a hop-on, hop-off bus, which I will briefly mention later on, because for some of you, this actually might be a good idea. So I will mention it later on as well. So let's start with the buses. There is an extensive network of buses in Athens, and you can get by bus everywhere, anywhere in Athens. It is my least favorite mean of public transport for a few very, very obvious reasons. Buses can get stuck in traffic, and especially during rush hours or during the summer, or when there's a lot of tourists and a lot of commuters around, buses will get stuck in traffic. Also in the winter, they can get very, very hot. I am yet to be sitting in a conditioned bus. I have heard or read somewhere that there's some new buses coming to Athens, but at the moment buses are probably the least modern, I would say. But if you're staying somewhere where there's no other ways of getting into, like there's no tram or no metro, you can safely take the bus. Later on, I will tell you how to use the ticket and how to actually pay for the journey. But I'll be honest with you, if you are staying in central Athens, I see no reason for you to actually use buses. There are so many better alternatives. The second and very similar mean of public transport are trolleybuses. Basically, trolleybus is like a fusion between bus and a tram because they are powered by the overhead electric line. So they have a very strict route that they can go to because they basically can only go where the electric line is. But the good thing about trolleybuses is that they are newer buses. Every single trolley bus that I've ever traveled with it was air conditioned and very comfortable. And most of the time they're not as busy as buses are. At least this is my experience. But really there's not much difference between buses and trolley buses. You don't really have to worry about it much. Then there is a third mean of public transport, which is tram. I actually really like traveling by tram, but only if I travel along the Athens Riviera. Actually, I think that if you're planning to travel along the Athens Riviera and maybe do a little bit of beach hopping or see different places around the Riviera, tram is really great way of traveling there because it goes along the coast, so it's a very, very picturesque ride. But the trams are slow, but they're slow when they're in town, because although they don't care that much about traffic, they do stop at traffic lights. And there's plenty of traffic lights in the cities. There are 2 tram lines and they're really easy to distinguish on the map, because one is going from the center of Athens, from Syntagma, goes all the way to the coast, and then it splits, and that's the kind of second line, which is number 7, and it goes into both directions of the coast. So on one side to Piraeus, on the other side to Vola. All right, so I'm actually going to jump on the computer and I'm actually going to show you the map. Very simple, but I'm going to show you visually. I think this is going to be much better. So I've got 2 different maps. I will actually link them both down in the description, just in case you wanted to take a look. This one is a little bit more interactive, so you can actually click on the station. But that one is more detailed and is more interactive, but I'm going to use this one to show you the tram very quickly. So if you look at the map, this green, like a light green color, this is the tram, okay? So as I said, it starts from Syntagma, goes all the way to the coast around the Eden Beach. Eden Beach, by the way, is a really nice place, close to the Athens center to go to the beach, and then you go all the way to Piraeus, or you go all the way to Volas. As the further I've ever went on the tram was Glyfada, so I'm not sure if it still goes as far as Vola, but yeah, you can basically travel all along the coast. So like I said, this line here, it goes from Syntagma, which is city center, all the way to the coast, but this one is really slow. But if you staying somewhere around here, so for example you're staying in Fix, or you're staying in Neos Cosmos, or you're staying somewhere in Smyrni, this could be a nice way for you to travel. But if you have idea of traveling all the way from Syntagma to the coast by tram, I don't recommend it, because it is going to take ages. It is much better to take a metro from Monastiraki and go all the way to Faliro, and then you can get on the tram here, because while you're on the coast, the tram is much faster, okay? And it's much nicer as well. You actually have a really nice view. You can get off at Eden, you can get off at Faliro, you can get at the Kalamaki beach, which is quite popular beach on the Athens Riviera, or you can travel all the way to Glyfada. All right, so next, and my favorite, my absolutely favorite and most recommended way of traveling by public transport in Athens is metro. Metro in Athens is awesome. There are 3 main lines, and really, if you're staying in the center and you just want to travel between the biggest, the most famous landmarks, you can just travel by metro. But as I mentioned earlier, if you really place yourself centrally, if you find accommodation somewhere in the center, there's a lot of landmarks and places of interest like Acropolis and other places that you can see on foot. You don't have to take public transport at all. But maybe you don't want to walk too much, or maybe you want to see a lot of places in one day and you just want to spread your feet a little bit, or maybe you just want to experience the public transport in Athens. For this, metro is the best. So just like with the tram, I'm just going to jump quickly on my laptop, and I'm just going to, what I'm going to do, I'm also going to explain how to use the metro in Athens. If you've used metro anywhere else in the world, you can totally skip it because it's very easy to use, and the system of using metro is literally the same everywhere in the world. I will leave it timestamps below the video so you can jump to the public transport that you are interested in, or if there is something like me showing you how to use metro, if you know that already, or if you've used metro before, you can just skip it. So let's go, and let me just explain to you a few bits about the metro in Athens. Okay, let's go.
All right, so now let me very quickly explain to you how to use metro system in Athens. Like I said, if you've ever used metro system before, you will know what I'm talking about, and you don't need to really bother with that tutorial. You will just maybe need to see the map to know where you're going. But for those of you that are choosing to use metro for the first time, you always need to know two things. You need to know where you are, basically what is the metro station that you are at, where you're going, and which direction you're taking, okay? Because when you will get on the metro station, let's say you are in Kalitea. This is where I am right now, okay? Let's say you are in Kalitea, and if you want to go to Faliro, okay, you need to know what is the final station towards Faliro. So the final station will be Piraeus. So when you get into the metro station, actually that's a train station because we are talking about electrical, but if you get into the station, you will always see two sides, okay? So one side is going to Piraeus, the other side is going all the way to Kifisia. So you know you want to go to Faliro, so you need to follow the signs to Piraeus. And this will apply to every single journey that you're taking. So let's say you are getting into the station in Monastiraki, okay? And you want to go to Syntagma, okay? Just one stop. I actually recommend you walk it. But let's say you want to take the tram towards Syntagma. So you know that Syntagma is to the east of Monastiraki. So you see where this line is going. The last stop is the Athens airport. So basically when you get into the station in Monastiraki, you follow the signs for the blue line, okay, which is in Monastiraki actually is on the left side. The green one is on the right side of the station. The blue one is on the left side of the station. And you look for the side of the line which goes towards Athens airport, because this is where you're going. You're going to Syntagma. If you were going, let's say, to Agia Marina, Agia Marina is the last one. So let's say you were going to, don't know, Eleonas, okay? Let's say you were going to Eleonas, you will be looking for the sign for Agia Marina, because this is where you're going. Or if you were going from Syntagma to Monastiraki, you would be going towards Agia Marina. Okay, I hope I explained it well. And basically, this is all you need to know. You need to know where you are. So let's say your hotel is, or your hostel, or wherever you are staying. Let's say it is in Tisio, okay, which is here. Let's say it's in Tisio and you want to go to Acropoli, which is here, okay? So you know that there is, like, Tisio is green and Acropoli is red, okay? So you know you will have to change. And you will actually have to change twice. So this is a good example. So what I suggest, so basically, you know that in order to get to Acropoli, you will have to take one stop to Monastiraki, then one stop to Syntagma, and then one stop to Acropoli. So you start in Tisio, which is right here. You know that you need to go west. kind of west-north. So you know that you need to get into the green line towards Kifisia and get off in Monastiraki. Then when in Monastiraki, you're going towards Syntagma. Yes? So again, you're going east. Yes? You're going east. You're going this side. So you know you will be going towards the airport, but you'll be getting off in Syntagma. Yes? And now you're going to Acropoli. So you know you're going north. So you will be looking for a line that goes towards Elliniko. Yes? So you're not going towards Anthopoli. I think this is how you say it. You're going towards Elleniko. Yes? So you get on the station in Syntagma towards Acropoli. And you are in Acropoli. To be honest with you, if you were traveling from Tisio to Acropoli, just walk. It's a really lovely walk, actually, from Tisio to Acropoli. Really, really lovely. Don't take the metro, but I just wanted to show you this on a map, just so you know how to use the map.
So just to quickly summarize about the metro, you have 3 lines of metro in Athens. They are very conveniently color-coded, so it's always easy because you always follow the color of the line that you want to travel with. The green one is actually called electrical. It's the line number 1. It's called that because really it's a train. It's an overland train, but it's been integrated into the whole metro system, which really you shouldn't be bothering yourself with that knowledge, because when you look at the map it all looks like one integrated system. But just in case, maybe in some kind of conversation someone will ask you, are you traveling by metro, are you traveling by electrical? Just so you are not confused, when people say electrical they mean number 1, the line number 1, because this originally used to be an actual train line, but now it's just all together. And then you've got line number 2 and line number 3. 2 is red and 3 is blue. This is the newest one, and this is the one that will take you to the airport. I will in a moment explain to you how to actually pay for the journey, how to get the ticket, but before that I just want to briefly touch on 2 remaining ways of public transport in Athens. One is taxis. This is something that I would normally not include in any information about public transport, but taxis in Athens are just so affordable and easily accessible. There are tons and tons of yellow taxis in Athens. If you in center, especially maybe somewhere around Syntagma Square, the Parliament building, you can just see the roads just full of yellow taxis. They are everywhere. They are metered, they are safe, and there's plenty of them, and they're very, very affordable. Very important tip when it comes to using taxis, use the app. You can use Uber, but I suggest Free Now, which is the most popular app in Athens. It's the most popular, hence it has the biggest network of taxis. So it is basically the best app to use. But the difference between like the Uber, the ride-sharing apps in here and maybe in some other places, the app is more of a middleman. There is no Uber or Bolt or Free Now or company employing taxis. You will still call for the regular yellow taxi, but the app will basically help you make it safer, cheaper, and more convenient, because with the app you will know who's coming, what's the taxi driver's name, what's the number plate as well. You will know more or less the price, because this is the difference, because it's an actual taxi. The price is more or less, but it's quite accurate. Let's say if the app would say between 6 to 8 euros, you will not pay more than 8 euros unless there is a massive traffic, but then I would just get out and take a metro instead. And you pay in the app, so you don't actually have to pay the taxi driver. You pay with the app, you connect your app the same way like you would do with Uber or you would do with Bolt. you just pay through the app. And last unconventional method of using public transport in Athens is a hop-on, hop-off bus. It's a very touristy thing to do, and I am normally not the one who recommends like extremely touristy things to do, but it has a lot of pros, especially if you're staying in Athens for a short period of time and you really want to see a lot of the things. For around 25 euros, I think it's 24 hours, depending on which hop-on, hop-off bus company you choose, it's between 25 to 28 euros. You can travel around Athens all day. The way I used it in the past, I used it once in Rome and I used it once in Madrid. If you're not sure where you want to go, what you want to see, what's your priority, or you don't really want to see it all and walk or travel between one and another, you sit on a hop-on, hop-off bus and take one full ride around. You will have headphones, you will have the audio guide, and you will see what's in there and what you want to see. So, oh, okay, maybe I want to stop here. The great thing about the bus is that if you notice something that you really want to see, you hop off. You hop off the bus, you go and see it, and then you catch the next bus, and you can do it all day long. So although 25 euros is not the cheapest way of traveling, if you, for example, have only one day and you want to see it all, some like face to face and some maybe just from the bus, and you want to hear some audio guide and learn about different sites in Athens as well, this actually can be a really good option. Okay, now let's talk about tickets and how you're going to be paying for your transport. The best way is to go to any metro station and find one of those ticket vending machines. You will have multiple options. I'm going to walk you through all those options. So as you can see, this is the machine and they all look the same. I always choose English. And then you have different options here. Buy travel product is basically a new ticket. Top up is when you already have a card. And then so obviously you have different options. So we're buying a brand new ticket here, and you have an express bus, you have Athens and airport, and then you have Athens airport return. And you obviously have the Athens area, which excludes the airport. So we are going to choose Athens area because we're not going to the airport, and I am choosing 5 trips. Am I? Not yet. You have different options, 5 days, 24 hours, but I believe, yes, I was choosing 5 trips here, and that's 570 for 5 trips, and you can pay by cash or by card. So you can go back like I just did, and I did it once again, and you can top up the card if you already have one card. And you see, you can put it in your slot. I have the plastic one, but you're probably gonna have the paper one. You can just put it in there, and you see I already had 1 trip left on the card, but I'm gonna top up. So again, if you're just traveling around Athens, you choose Athens area. And in this case, let me see what I was choosing. I think I was choosing 5 trips. Yes, so I am topping up my existing card with 5 trips, and I will be paying by bank card. But you can also pay by cash. It's very easy. You have a touchpad here, and you can pay contactless, which I believe I did. Yes, I paid contactless, and then you just wait until your card gets topped up. The thing is that if you don't have the card at all, you just choose buy product, and you will get a brand new ticket, and you will print you a paper ticket with the amount of trips that you got. Or if you go to the airport and you chose the airport trip will be also loaded into this card. You just wait for the card, and then you just pick it up. And then if you when you picked up the card, you want to double check or you're not sure how many trips you have left, you just touch on product info or top up info, and then it will tell you what you've got. So you see I've got my 5 trips that I've just topped up, and I have the one that I've had left from beginning. And you pick up your card and you are ready to go. Prices for the tickets are super affordable. The one journey lasts 90 minutes. So if you get a single ticket, it is €1.20 for 90 minutes. That means that if you take a bus for 15 minutes and then you change for the tram for another 20 minutes, let's say, it's all within the 90 minutes. So you can take 2 different buses, bus and tram, or metro and bus, or 2 different buses, whatever. And then you use up your 90 minutes, and that's only going to cost you €1.20. If you come in for 3 days to Athens and you traveling from the airport by metro, I highly suggest getting the 3-day tourist ticket, which is €20, and it's an amazing value for money because single metro journey to the airport is €9. So for €20 you have return journey by metro to the airport plus 3-day travel pass for all public transport. If you stay in for longer, you can also get a tourist 5 days pass, which doesn't include travel to the airport, but it's only €8.20. It's just such a bargain, and you can just travel around Athens. So the ticket that you will get from the machine is a rechargeable paper ticket, so don't throw it away. You can actually top it up, and you can get it at all metro stations, but you can also get it at some tram stops. There are machines at the tram stops. Now, when you're using the tickets on bus, tram, and trolleybus, you only touch in when you come in. By touching in, you validating the ticket. So from the moment you touch in the ticket on the machine, the ticket is validated and it kind of starts running. So from that moment, your 90 minutes counts. So your 90 minutes is not counting from the moment you purchase the ticket, but you validated the ticket. Also very important to validate it, because if you don't, and there is a control, which does happen. Don't listen to people saying to you that no one's checking the tickets in Athens. I have seen 3 in the last 2 weeks. So, and I know some travelers that were traveling to the airport and they got caught and they got a €75 fine. You don't want that. Just validate the ticket. It's only €1.20 one way. It's really not that much. When you go on the bus, tram or trolley bus, you just validate it. When you get into the bus, you touch it in, you will see the screen turn green. It will tell you how many rides do you have left. And then you sit down and enjoy, and you don't have to do anything on the way out. When you take in the metro, you have to obviously touch it in to get into the metro, to get through the barrier, and then you have to touch it out on your way out, simply to get out of the station. Okay, you will see some people being a bit cheeky and trying to go behind you or whatever. For me, I'm not that very bothered. Some people get really angry about it. I don't care, I just want to mind my own business, but don't be surprised if this happens. Okay, if you're changing the lines, if you're changing from green to red or from red to blue, you're still going on the same ticket. You don't have to touch in, touch out anywhere. You basically touch into, let's say you go from Monastiraki to Attica, you go in Monastiraki, you touch in Monastiraki. You go with the train, you change whatever you want to change. I think actually you're not changing. But if you needed to change in Attica, for example, for something else, you still don't touch in, don't touch out. You go to your destination and you only touch out on your way out. So you don't worry, you don't have to pay twice only because you're taking different train. Okay, so now very quickly, because it's getting dark, because I am working all week and the day is getting shorter. I cannot believe it. So very quickly, I'll give you some very, very useful tips and maybe a few words of warning when you are using public transport in Athens. Be careful, because although public transport and Athens in general are really, really safe, there are pickpocketers like in any big touristy city in Europe. So always keep your belongings close to you, and if you have like a backpack or any type of bag, keep it at the front and make sure that it's not easily accessible. Don't put phones at the back pocket or anything like that. Just be mindful of that, because you don't want on your trip to Athens for someone to, steal your phone or steal your wallet. It's not going to be a very good memory. So just keep your belongings to yourself. Also, watch out for strikes. I've learned the hard way, because I had my sister coming to visit me just for 3 days, and she was coming late in the evening. So I was planning to take a metro to the airport to pick her up, only to find out that on that day there was a national strike and no public transport was working. So we had to organize a taxi to pick her up from the airport at midnight. It was a disaster. So when you are planning your travel, always check, just Google it, if there's no national strike planned for that day, because those are planned. There's always one on the 1st of May, which is like a Labor Day, but there's 2-3, I think around 3 times a year you have guaranteed strikes of all means of public, even taxis. The last time there was a strike, there was a public transport strike, even taxis stopped working for some time. So you stuck, but this can actually ruin your travel, so watch out for that. And the final tip before it gets completely dark, use Google Maps. Google Maps works really well in Athens. It works really well for planning your trip. It will show you the nearest bus stop. It will show you the nearest tram or trolleybus stop. It will show you the fastest way of getting from A to B. Google Maps will be your best friend. In Athens, it will work a treat. So definitely use Google Maps. So that's it. Now you know how to use public transport in Athens. If you have any questions, please, of course, ask them below. If you are coming to Athens and maybe you're interested in some of the beaten path trips from Athens, I will link a couple of videos somewhere, or maybe at the end of this video on the screen, and check out my other videos related to Athens. And especially if you're coming to Athens for a little bit longer, maybe planning to live in Athens, I've got some really useful resources for you, okay? So enjoy your time in Athens, enjoy using public transport, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.